Favyn. Is that how you say it, right? Or Favyn?
Yeah, it's
Favyn?
one of the accepted methods of saying it. Sure. I don't know
Cool.
how to say it, so whatever you prefer. It's Favin, 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 whatever you prefer.
Favyn, Favyn, Favyn. Cool, 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 cool. Um, I guess we just wanted to talk real quick about recent Halo events, sort of the news that's been coming out with Halo Infinite and stuff like that. I know you're like a long time sort of legacy uh, Halo advocate in a way. Did you have any? Because I know recently you said you wanted to take a break. Did you have any insight you wanted to add to that? Like, did you? What's going on that
Um,
you? What's your
it's
frustration with the Halo community?
I wouldn't say like I'm frustrated anymore. Like definitely that's kind of why I started my channel, right? Because it's just like, man, like this I'm not enjoying myself. That's kind of why I started talking about it. It's like, hey, Halo's not really doing it for me right now.
Hmm.
Here's why. And I think 5 years down the road, and we've all kind of seen the direction Infinite's going, and it's just kind of like, man, like, do I really want to stick around for, not only Infinite, but then 5 years after that, and who knows what the next game's gonna look like, and I'll be in my 30s at that point, and I think I've just thought to myself, like, you know what, maybe it's time to kind of say my last few things here, and maybe bow out and just let y'all have it.
Yeah, yeah. Did you plan on doing like any other games or anything like that, or just just?
I've thought about it. Like, it's kind of like I feel like I'm definitely gonna step away from Halo,
Hmm.
and it's just a matter of am I gonna step away from YouTube entirely, or maybe I'll make a couple post Halo things and see how that goes. But I'm definitely just kind of feeling content in my own little world now. Like maybe just relieve myself of the pressure of coming home and trying to figure out scripts and compelling content. Just like I'm cool to just come home and hang out with the wife and the baby and my
I
family and
I
you know
totally feel you, man. I feel the same exact way. I have a girlfriend, and I work and all
yeah.
that stuff, full time job, and that's how it is. You don't always want to come home and write a script and fuss about a company that you really have no control over.
Right. Right. And
Right.
it's like, man, like, like how many years am I gonna do it? Like, cause Halo, I'm not really feeling like they're gonna go towards the classic direction, and that's fine. Like, I'm at peace with that. But at the same time, it's like that's the type of Halo game I want to play. I don't want to play the Halo that is coming out right now. Like, I'm not interested in that style of game. It's just not compelling to me. I love the franchise for what it was, but like I'm not obligated to be here. I'm not obligated to give them, $60 every time they put Halo on the box. I'm not obligated to enjoy or try to enjoy it. Like if it's not for
Right.
me, it's kind of like, hey, like okay, like people say, hey, if you don't like it, don't play it, and it's like, well, okay, like
Yeah.
that's fine by me. And it's just kind of like, man, like I'm making content for a franchise I don't personally enjoy playing. At least I don't enjoy playing, the newer entries. And how many years am I gonna do that?
Right.
Like if my is my son gonna be, 5 or 6 years old and like, let's go play, let's go play baseball in the backyard. And I'm like, oh, daddy has to go yell about this video game he used to play when he was 12.
Mm.
It's like I'm kind of thinking maybe maybe it's time to just kind of let them sort it out. Now, obviously, like, I'll be watching from afar. Like, if they're just like, hey, we're dropping a classic Halo, like, I'm not going to not play that.
Right.
Like, hey, like, okay, cool, sweet. I'll definitely check that out. And I'm not even saying, like, I'm boycotting Halo or anything. I don't do any stuff like that. It just, I think I think they've said it's going to be free.
Mm.
So, like, I'll give it a shot. It's not like I'm just going to boycott it or anything like that. But I'm definitely not interested in you know,
Well,
I don't know.
after
I guess I don't have the fire I used to have for it. That's for sure.
well, yeah, in regards to Infinite, I was never ever interested, actually.
Right.
um, um, not to be like cocky or anything like that. I just it never piqued my interest, man. It just from the art style to the presentation to just not having
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
information about it. I they kind of left us dry for so long and kept quiet.
Yeah.
And then here, I guess
Yeah.
the game is what, releasing next fall now, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
It looks like it's been delayed a full year at this point,
and
and
what we
I'm
saw,
kind of in the same boat as you.
yeah, what we saw at E3 was not suitable for, or at least it didn't exceed my expectations at all. It didn't even meet my expectations. Like I was
Right.
expecting, and I think I tuned into your video. Like I think you kind of agreed, your last video on Infinite, but yeah, man, they didn't even, they really really blew it. I think, and they became a laughing stock. I really do think that they're just, I don't know. What do you think? Like, I know with the Force,
Right.
yeah.
So for me, I kind of had a similar trajectory as you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been ecstatic and excited about basically every Halo, but decreasingly so up to Infinite, where even when it was announced and we knew nothing about it, I felt indifferent, and that was kind of like a sign
Perfect.
for me.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like when Halo 4 was announced, and we had Reach, and Reach had some changes, and I hadn't quite developed this, oh shoot, Halo's going downhill. Like at that point, I was still like, oh, they'll learn from Reach's mistakes. They'll change it. So when Halo 4 was announced, I didn't care that 343 was making it. Like I didn't care. It was just like, holy shit, like this is a sequel to my favorite game of all time.
Right.
Like it leaked that morning. It was on the Microsoft website that Halo 4 was going to be announced at the E3 press conference, and I literally stayed home from school. I was so excited to see it. Like that, I was still, even at Halo 4, like I was still that excited about Halo. And
Right.
even in Halo 5, which quickly dissipated, like when I saw Chief standing there in that cloak, even after Halo 4, and even after, Halo 4 disappointed me, when I saw Chief standing there in that cloak with the little chip in his hand, like I felt that rush. But to me, I think that was the last time I felt that way about Halo. That was the last time where I really I felt like that excitement that the franchise used to give me.
I remember.
When I saw,
Mm-hmm.
when I saw, for the Infinite trailer, when Chief's holding his helmet, and it looks like Chief's helmet. Like I got to be honest with you, I didn't care. I didn't care. It's sad, but it kind of hit me at that point where I was like, wow, like I don't have faith in this game anymore. And then, obviously the gameplay, you kind of saw that where even just on a technical level, I think that disappointed, but obviously with the, the mechanics that they showed off, the grappling hook, I didn't think the weapons looked that good. I'm just like, doesn't really look like it's something for me.
Right.
And I don't really think I got it in me to bitch and complain about it for another 3 or 4 years.
Right. Now, are you cool talking about 343? Like you can obviously like talk with them about them, right? Like obviously we're not gonna bitch at them, but like.
Well, like I try not to call out individuals. I think I wear my opinion on my sleeve. Obviously, I don't think they've done a great job. I would tell a 343 employee to their face that. I have done that.
Right.
I talked with 343 employees, and believe it or not, I talked with some that they agree with a lot of kind of the classic sentiment. It's just, you got to understand there's hundreds of people there. Like you could find somebody that thinks like you. That doesn't mean like they have the influence to make that happen. But I kind of get it, and like I'm never gonna just absolutely rip them to shreds, because like I said, I know the people there.
Right.
I just think I think there are better ways of giving feedback, and at this point, for me, it's like I feel like I could give feedback in a good way, and I'm confident they'll hear it. I don't think it's an issue of, are they listening? They're listening. It's just, do they do anything when they hear it?
Right.
And I don't necessarily think 343 is going to do that, or at least not fast enough, and not in a way that permits me to like, let me wait this out.
Right. Now, do you think 343, like the way they're handling the franchise, do you think it's Microsoft's fault? Do you think it's, you know what I mean? Like, who do you think is in charge of, or more responsible, I guess you
Well,
can say? Um,
well, I mean, when you look at all the evidence, it doesn't look good, dude. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like when you really look at the total picture, even if you can kind of brush a few things under the rug, when you take it all in, it's kind of like, okay, well, uh, how many creative directors have left? How many the studio head left?
right.
Obviously, we saw the demo. That didn't look good. Now the game's delayed for a year, and it's like, okay, well, if you thought the demo didn't look good and you thought, oh, this wasn't ready, there were a lot of people that were singing its praises anyway.
Mm,
There were a lot of people that were just like, oh my goodness, like, no, dude, like, this is an old build. Everything's great. I'm sure it'll be fine. But if you were really honest with yourself and you saw that, you'd know, no, that's not good. Like, there's something going on. And, it got delayed a whole year. Chris Lee left, wish nothing but the
yeah,
best for him. Don't have anything to say. Like, I hope he finds something that he's happy with.
right.
But you can't look at all of that, and then you got like the Glassdoor reviews where people are saying, "Man, I don't know how this company, not happy with how it's run."
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like you could say, "Oh, it's 343, it's Microsoft." I don't care. I don't think it even matters. All that matters is, what's the game that you get. I think as a critic, as someone who talks about the game, it does us no justice of just playing the blame game, like, oh, blame them, blame that. I think all that matters is how's the game? You know,
Right.
is it good? Is it good for the people who are potentially going to purchase it? And I think really that's what the discussion should be centered on, just the quality of the experience that we get, next fall now.
Awesome, awesome. And I was just curious, Fav. With that recent like Fortnite stuff going on with Halo, how do you feel
Yeah.
about that? Like with them, after all that, after all this going on with Halo, the mismanagement of the franchise, the delays, like all you said, and then they go on and, you know, go and put Master Chief in Fortnite, literally, and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Not that I have anything against Fortnite, you know what I mean, and not that I have an issue with that, because it is cosmetic, it is cool. It's just something they do for advertisement. But at the same time, like I want to see from Halo that they're going in the right direction. Do you kind of see what I'm?
Well,
Kinda
I think there are loose, like, not comparisons, but people kind of connect dots that I don't necessarily think they're there. Like, if you want to be honest, like if I'm going to be honest, I don't care even in the slightest that Master Chief is in Fortnite. That actually honestly doesn't bother me at all. You can
Yeah.
put Master Chief in whatever game you want to put him in. You want to put him in Smash Bros? I'm cool with that. Like, you want to put him,
Yeah.
they had a Spartan in Dead or Alive 4 before Halo 3 came out. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't care. Like, I thought,
Right.
oh, that's awesome. Like, and I think we're so worried about Halo's direction and Halo's tone and all of this stuff that I think just by associating it with something like Fortnite, which is popular with kids.
Hmm.
I was walking down the toy aisle buying stuff for my nephew, buying Nerf guns, and it was just covered in like Fortnite Nerf guns,
Hmm.
like straight up, like all of the stuff is completely dominated by Fortnite for the kids. But I really don't think we should care that Halo is being represented in Fortnite. It didn't ruin the Mandalorian that Mando was in Fortnite.
Right.
Marvel's in Fortnite. Everything is in Fortnite's basically just a melting pot of everything. It doesn't even necessarily have an identity. What does bother me more is if you were to take a Fortnite character and put him in Halo. Like, that would bother me, because I don't think that aesthetic fits Halo personally.
Yeah.
If you had like a cartoon in Halo, I wouldn't like that very much. I don't know what that main character's name is. I think he has a name. But yeah, like, no one cared when Halo skins got put into Minecraft, which is also very popular with kids. No one cares when they made Halo into Mega Bloks, which is obviously very popular with kids, or Halo action figures, or Halo books, or Halo comics, or any of these other media things that Halo is in. From my perspective, the more shit you can put Halo in, the better. I don't think that means, oh man, now we got to appeal to Fortnite fans because Master Chief is in Fortnite. I don't think it works that way.
Yeah.
So I'm not bothered by it actually at all that Master Chief is in Fortnite. I think that's fine, but obviously it goes without saying, if Master Chief being in Fortnite inspires some of that fan base to try out Halo, I don't think Halo should try to cater to that in an actual Halo game, if
Right.
that makes sense.
Now let me take it a step further. Do you think? Because I know you made a video about this before. Do you think they're gonna go the battle royale direction? Do you think they're gonna Halo Infinite battle royale?
I mean, at launch, no idea. I guarantee you they have. I have no idea what their priorities are, honestly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if at some point it makes an appearance. Maybe it has. Maybe they do it the right way. Like I have a video on battle royale in Halo, and I think there is an avenue that you could do it where it fits and it works. Now that doesn't mean 343 would do it that way.
Right.
They have a history of kind of purpose building things and just kind of isolating experiences, which I don't think works for Halo at all. But if you build it into the Forge tools, if you maybe double a Forge canvas as a battle royale map, you know, so like, man, now you have this big space that can be used for battle royale and all sorts of Forge creations. And if you're smart with it, you could probably pull it off. But I don't think they're gonna try and do that right now.
Yeah.
If I guess.
Yeah, that's. Well, I'm sure, like, you know, the coronavirus pandemic, all that doesn't help. You know what I mean? And just, if you've noticed, like, it's seen with Cyberpunk and just the whole gaming community in general, things are not looking sort of. A lot of things are releasing broken, especially right now. Right. One of the last things, Fab, I kind of wanted to just like talk about. Recently with Infinite, I know they've been, you know, kind of spoiling like different art direction pictures, different things like that. What is your take on like some of the recent images that we've seen on Infinite? Like, do you like sort of the art direction that they're kind of going in? Like, to be honest, I thought, at least from like the images that I saw, that they kind of just looked like Halo 5. Like it looked like a multiplayer map, like Riptide or whatever multiplayer map you want to call it, on Halo. It was weird. It was like, you know what I mean? Can you kind of?
Right. Well, obviously, the game itself that we've seen in gameplay doesn't look great. Now, hopefully they're going to clear that up, and whenever we see it next, it'll look better. The map I was not impressed with at all, but I will say that I do think some of the like individual Spartan renders, some of those looked pretty good. Like some of those I was like, okay, well that I can accept as Halo.
Accept?
You know.
Accept?
Yeah. I can accept.
Accept.
I wouldn't say they just completely nail the look. Like I've seen some people that are just like, oh my gosh, like we back, boys. Like I don't know.
No.
And I think Halo's definitely it's how all the pieces come together. And obviously right now I don't like the way the game looks. They delayed it a year, so they're supposed to make it look even better. But at the same time, like how a game looks is pretty low on my priority. I would rather that the game underneath it be fun. I can play a shitty looking game for a long time, but I can put a pretty game down real fast if it doesn't have, you know, the compelling mechanics underneath it. So I didn't really like the way the map looked. It looked, like you said, very Halo 5-esque, just in its just kind of overall
that military
overall look. Right, just like that super sleek kind of futuristic, like really I don't know, just like if you put that in Halo 5, I'd be like, oh okay.
Yeah.
Kind of what's that map, like Stasis, I think it's called, or something?
Chassis or
gave me a
Stasis. Yeah, I don't know.
Something like that.
Something.
So I didn't hate the Spartan armors. Like I think Chief looks okay. But I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one. Yeah. I'll know more when they actually, you know, start showing what they've been working on.
I remember that render you were talking about with that Spartan armor. I really, and this is just my opinion, I just really did not like it. Like I I thought it was with Halo. I kind of want to see like at least in the art direction, like a more return to form. Like I think Halo 3 really captured the visual style
Right.
of Halo, in my opinion. And I know some people came in with Halo 4, Halo Reach, whatever.
Yeah.
But I just feel like for some reason the colors, the saturation, the foliage, the grass, like the environments, all in Halo 3 kind of just felt like it was the pinnacle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then Halo 4, oh, it looked beautiful, beautiful. And you know, 5, it just kind of felt like it just didn't, it wasn't finished or something. Or I mean, it looked good, but it just like you could tell like enemies would move and like their animations would be all laggy and.
I mean, I think 4 holds up better than 5 if you want me to be perfectly honest.
When
I look at 4, I'm like, whoa, that's a pretty good looking game. And 5, it does feel like maybe they prioritize more performance, which makes sense. You know, I think that was the first Halo game to launch at 60 FPS.
You're right.
Pretty sure Halo 4 was 30 FPS. So that's probably why the graphical boost didn't seem as drastic. But I do not like the way Halo 4 or 5 looks from an art style perspective. And I do think Infinite is definitely an improvement on both of those. Fidelity-wise, that demo definitely disappointed, but art direction, I do think it's moving in the right direction. Honestly, I just didn't have a problem with the way the Spartans looked. I thought that was fine.
Yeah.
So what didn't you like about like the new Spartans that they showed off recently?
That they didn't look like Halo 3.
It didn't
No,
look like
no, I'm joking. In a way, it's just like, you know, it's more that shiny, sleek. I want to say like Power Ranger in space. Like when I imagine Master Chief, I don't imagine, you know, like a under the spotlight, you know, badass, like sleek, like the colors and I don't know. I like the aesthetics of, you know, traditional Halo, like the armor. It wasn't as bulky, you know, more slim, if that makes sense. Black undersuits, of course, all that. But
I'm gonna try and find one of those pictures just so I can
I gotta
wrap
find
my head around it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up one too.
Here we go.
Halo Infinite.
So I kind of see what you're saying. I think like the overall geometry and shape of the armor I'm okay with. I will say I don't think 343's ever nailed like the actual material. I think they like, especially in Halo 5, everything looked a little too glossy, you know what I mean?
Right.
I kind of prefer it with more of a matte, subdued finish. So I would agree with you on that, but like I'm looking at this guy right here,
But Chief
the
looks good.
Watchdog armor
I think
coating.
Chief looks good. But
the SR-152 armor looks
right.
pretty good.
Well, you think it looks good?
I think it looks fine. Like I feel like I'm a pretty harsh critic, but I see that and I'm like, okay.
It's fine.
Like, I'm okay with that.
It's acceptable.
Yeah, it's acceptable. I mean, I'm not sitting there going like, oh my god, like yes, it's just Halo 3, but you know, 20 years later with all of the technology that we've had, like it looks like, it looks like Halo.
Yeah.
I would say it's distinctly Halo. It's not the best it could be, but it's not enough to where I'm going to be super offended or make a bunch of videos, you know, complaining about it. I'd be like, okay, and it's also not my specialty. It's not my expertise. I'll let somebody else go through the finer details and determine, you know, the little things that are off. For me, I just kind of top-down view. I'm like, yeah, it looks okay. You know, like that's the best I can do. Like I'm not as adept as some of these other folks when it comes to the intricacies of Halo's armor.
Fav, I was curious too. Well, Halo Infinite, like the campaign direction, sort of like, because we know, I guess it's like open world, but it is, but it isn't. Like it, I don't know. We don't know. I guess they're going towards the open world kind of game design. What's your opinion on that? Do you like that aspect, like the open world kind of game in Halo? Do you think that would work? Do you think that would be bad? Do you want a more traditional campaign? What do you think?
I've thought about that a lot, and I think there are ways they could make it work, but I'm naturally a little apprehensive because I think Halo's traditionally a very curated, focused experience where you control everything. You control where people come from, you control the enemy encounters, you control you control everything. And I think when you have a real open environment, it changes how you approach encounters, but it also changes how you have to design them. So I think it's going to be hard to adapt Halo's previous 30 seconds of fun gameplay loop perfectly into it. I would prefer if it was more hey, here's traditional linear sections, and then maybe you have curated, designed open areas. I think when you have a traditional campaign, you can control it, right? Like you can have linear levels. You could open it up and have big exploratory levels. You can have ship levels or whatever. So I think if you go purely open world and you turn it into more of a hey, make your own fun, approach it however you want, you are going to lose some things. It's just going to depend on if you can gain enough to kind of balance it out. Like, is the freedom of, man, I can just grapple up here and kill all these dudes and now I feel super powerful. Is that going to outweigh the, kind of more traditional Halo experience?
Right, right. And obviously you don't like sprint and all that kind of stuff.
Fuck that shit.
You've talked enough about sprint, huh?
Right. I don't think I could say another single word about it without getting just a million collective eye rolls. So
and
I'll let it go.
Somebody's gonna go, oh, he wants sprint now. He wants sprint. No.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But it is what it is. So y'all enjoy it.
Yeah.
Your left sticks until they just don't work no more.
And I actually my girlfriend, I let her play because I got a new the Series X. I was letting her play Doom Eternal on the Series X, and it was really cool. And I liked how they no sprint, you just move around and stuff, and I was actually impressed. But
I just think it's hilarious that Doom removes sprint and ADS and reloading because they think it makes the game too slow. That is hilarious to me. And here we are trying to add it in to make it fast, and Doom's like, no, fuck that. Like, let's remove sprint so we can make it even faster. Like, I don't know. And I honestly, some people think, oh, you should just make Halo move like Doom. I don't think that would work if you just want to know the truth. I think Halo's like kind of really deliberate cadence is pretty important to it. So even like adjusting the base movement speed probably isn't that great of an idea. Even with sprint and all that stuff, the pace of combat when you actually stop and bring your gun up, it's been relatively consistent across all of the games. So if you increase base movement, you literally alter Halo's combat cadence to a place where it's never been before. So that would have changes that I don't think people quite recognize when they just throw that out there as a suggestion.
I will say I don't think a lot of the maps, like at least in like Halo Reach even, worked good with sprint. Even like on Halo 4, some of the maps they remastered, like the pit and stuff like that. Like I felt like ever since sprint's been introduced into Halo, we haven't had like a package of maps comparable to Halo 3 and Halo 2, like Lockout Guardian, Ivory Tower, like that whole list of just boom, here's these amazing maps.
Right.
You know what I mean? We just get these, okay, there's maybe Haven on Halo 4, which is a good arena map, another decent arena map, and then, just a few other things.
Well, I mean, yeah, and you can if you can deny it, right? Like you could say, oh no, that doesn't have anything to do with it. They just haven't been able to make maps that are as memorable. But I think it's pretty obvious that you got to build maps around your new mechanics, and if you constantly introduce new mechanics, then it's going to be harder to build maps. You're going to have to build around all that. And I also think just like the more mobile you are, the less important the map design is. And I know like I'll get a lot of people that think that's controversial. I just mean like the more powerful you are as an individual, the more mobility, the more options you have, kind of the less the map dictates um, how you play it. Essentially, like it's more like just a canvas and a playground for you than like this set of rules that you're abiding by that are constantly changing every time you play a new one. It's different. I'm not saying like, oh, there's less depth overall. I just think the depth's been transferred more into what the player, can do, as opposed to, hey, I got this simple set of mechanics now. How do I use the tools that have been given to me, and how do I utilize this environment in a way that I can seize an upper hand? So it's just a completely different design philosophy.
Hmm.
It's either, hey, you're making a player more powerful, or you're stripping them of that power and making them use their environment and the tools that you give them. So um, obviously, you know which my preference is. And I think it'd be awesome if we had games that were actually made with that, because it seems like everything goes for the power fantasy nowadays. But we'll see what Infinite tries to do, because Halo 5 is definitely more of the power fantasy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Fav, that's really all I wanted to do. Just because I wanted to just catch up. I know I only wanted to do 30 minutes with you today. Did you want to add anything? Maybe say anything, any
Huh.
thought that
Well, I guess it's just a. Obviously, you were one of actually the first people I ever talked to when I started YouTube.
yeah.
So it's kind of fitting that I'm winding down and I'm here. And no, it's definitely been enjoyable. Um, I'll still be around, so I guess wake me when you need me. And
Wait, that's perfect. Wake me when you need me.
yeah, wake me when you need me. Obviously, like I don't have any bitterness. Like I'm not rage quitting or anything. It's just
Right.
like, hey, I'm content in my life. Um, I'm content with what I got outside. When I shut the screen off and stop talking to all you, I'm content with what I got over here. Um,
Honestly, that makes me really happy, Fav. I'm really
yeah,
happy for you, man. That
appreciate it. Yeah, and
because
I'm happy for you too.
that's what I've been just try to, just being happy, just coming
Yeah,
home every day, being happy you have a, job. Some people, you know what I mean? Just the whole
yeah.
year is just a nasty year, man.
Oh yeah.
Are you doing okay? Like, are you
Oh
comfortable
yeah.
talking about that? Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I'm comfortable. Like
how
I've
how has
kept
coronavirus
my
had
job
an
throughout the
effect
whole
on
thing.
you?
Oh, the
Right?
coronavirus? Well, I mean, it's just, it's really fucked my holiday shopping pretty bad. That's
Mm,
been that's been tough to get out there. I've been really fortunate. It hasn't hit me personally in a
mm,
way I know it's affected a lot of people. Um, I know people kind of like adjacent acquaintances where it's hurt them in really impactful personal life altering ways.
yeah.
Um, for me and my family, we have avoided it. Money wise,
Awesome.
I've worked through the whole thing. I haven't had no family members get sick. We've been,
Mm,
pretty safe. Um, so we've kind of avoided it, luckily, and just it's we've managed to make a good year out of what I think for most people is just one of the worst years of all time. Um, so I definitely sympathize with those who are struggling with it,
oh
and
yeah.
I'm hoping it all ends for us soon.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
the reason I asked, I actually just recovered actually from
oh,
COVID.
really?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yes. I think I got it
Woo!
at work, possibly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know though, So well, I didn't, I was okay too. I didn't really, get the bad
Right,
variant or the
right.
I kind of just had,
Right.
like
Well,
the just
you just
cough
got to
and
make sure we don't give it to someone else. Like if you get it and you're fine, it's like, yeah, but like you might give it to somebody and it could really mess with them.
oh
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's
I
always the
I was
problem.
terrified about my grandmother. She,
Mhm.
because older
Right.
issues like that. So
Right. Yeah, and I
well,
was worried cuz my wife was pregnant through most of this whole
oh my
ordeal.
god.
And then my son was born, so it's kind of like, holy shit, like if I get it, and what's even crazier is my wife works at Kaiser. She's a medical assistant. So she was literally, around this stuff all the time,
Hmm.
and we were having to, get tested. Like one time, I had like a fit of vertigo one time, and I had to miss 3 days while they were testing me. Like they just like, nope, no risks, no chances. Like it was just completely, you know,
Yeah.
very kind of stringent and delicate of a situation. So, but we made it, and baby boy's healthy, and she's healthy, and we're I think I'm hoping we're just about through it. Hopefully.
Awesome, man. I'm hoping. I don't know how. I don't know about that, but. Well, it was nice talking to you, Fav. I'm glad to catch up, man. It was really good hearing
Yeah,
you.
and for sure, I appreciate it. I watched your Halo talks with Rony Boney, um, so it's cool to be on. Cool
Yeah,
to
yeah.
kind of
I'm
have
like
a
you, man. I want to wind down too. I don't want to be doing this all the time and writing scripts. I haven't wrote. If you noticed, I haven't written the scripts in what 8 months.
oh well I'm up to
Oh.
like I can still I still get into it, but
Mhm.
just when it comes to like sitting down and writing a script and editing the video and getting footage and it's just I don't know if I can do it too much longer, but I definitely enjoyed it while I did it. I enjoyed meeting people such as yourself, and I'm gonna stay in contact with you and a bunch of other people I've met on here. Like I consider them genuine friends, not just like internet acquaintances. So it was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, and I'm hoping who knows what'll come out of it in the future. But for right now, I'm definitely gonna just take a step back and enjoy myself.
I'm gonna say you've been a big inspiration to me, Fav. Like
Oh,
especially when I was younger, you like with YouTube and seeing you like from the beginning. I remember I came across your channel. I commented on your first video, I believe
mm.
it was, and it was just like
Man, I was angry back then.
yeah, you you were yeah. um, well,
Whew.
all right, Fav. It was good talking to you, man.
Good talking to you, man. We'll see you later.
All right, see ya.